Holy heck, Orpa, you're in quick. Lovely to see you, of course. Not done any kind of intro. You're already here. Do a quick intro, and then we can get into the art. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It is I, Monochrome Mouse, here with you tonight to do some more Rat Baby comic. Let's just get straight into it. I hope you're well, Orpa. Well, you weren't here before the stream started. Ah, well, that's fine then. That's okay. You just quick on the update. I can believe that. Now, I would say this panel is done, but I don't think it is. I think I've got a few more things to add to it. You have yawns, we'll trade for coffee. Yeah, good call. It is evening here, so I can't do a coffee, sadly. Can't do a coffee for myself, but I can get one tomorrow. That's my rule. No coffee after 2 p.m. And I should be keeping to that. But 9:30 a.m. about, so then perfect time for coffee for you, that's for sure. Let's call it rendering. I was talking today with my parents about how my panels are taking longer than usual, but also because the quality of my work has increased. So I'm okay with that. And you wake up at 9, so okay, well then in that case it's like you are behind on the coffee for you. Like you need that coffee. You need them beans, that sweet, sweet bean juice. I fully get that, and I fully respect that, honestly. Where am I? Making sure I'm on the right page. Alright, we're gonna do some like mushrooms and things like that. Just add it. Just adding a bunch of stuff that, like, you know, improves the way the world looks. The look of the world. That's definitely not right. But in a moment after partner gets up, she worked weekends, so she's free today. Hey! That's lovely. Yeah, you're waiting to get your coffee till your partner's up. And also, if you set that coffee machine going while someone's still asleep, that's one hell of an awakening. If you have, I mean, like, the coffee machine is pretty loud. At least mine is. But do you grind your beans yourself? Because that's loud. That's a loud addition to the coffee machine. Yeah, having brekkie together, that's lovely. What a nice thing to do. Oh, we got an ad coming up. I love that noise. Something about it I just like a lot. It's some fairly uninspired, just little like brown shiitake mushrooms. You grind the beans? Nice. Yeah, I have my own grinder as well, and I like the option. A lot of the cafes that I am near will offer to grind them, but I'm totally happy to just grind them myself. But the smell of coffee would be the perfect wake up. Oh god, yeah. Yeah, it's a catch-22, isn't it? Do I wake up my partner with the sound of grinding, but the assurance that there will be coffee when they get up? Or do I leave it and then there's a guarantee that there's no coffee, but also no noise? It's a tough call. I think I'd probably forgive the sound of the grinding over the knowledge that I would have beans bean juice, like sweet, sweet bean juice. I think for me that makes it all worth it. Yeah, the big dilemma of life. Oh yeah, it's one of the big first world problems. That's for sure. Because I live in a rental space, I have just a rule that I don't make coffee before 8, and then I don't make it after 8 either, just so that I'm not like, because I'd feel really bad if I was disturbing my neighbors who share a wall with me. I just think, yeah, that'd just be a rough, bit rough on them. How's this gonna look? Will it stand out a little bit? But I'm adding, flowers and things like that, and a little bit of flora and fauna just to the world, because I think it needs it. Just add a little bit more. That's really nice thinking. Not too many would bother that far. Yeah, I know. A lot of people don't. Would be like, it's fine. They'll just get over it. I am catatonically concerned with not annoying people, I think. I'm always thinking about that. Like, it's one of my big concerns. It's like if I'm annoying somebody inadvertently, if I'm annoying someone on purpose, then it is what it is. I do that anyway. But yeah, if I can help it, then I'll try not to. And then it really annoys me when people are just like inadvertently annoying. Because like I do everything I can not to be annoying. Look at you. You're just being annoying naturally. We just drink in the morning and never before 9. Usually we're not up even before that. So yeah, it just works out naturally then. Which is, yeah, a nice way of that turning out. For me personally, I'm usually up at 6 in the morning. I work full time and then I do this part time. I gym in the mornings and then I go to work. And I've started going to work early so I can finish early so I can do more of this and, you know, the old, not ruthless cycle, but basically the idea is that I, accommodate more of what I want to do with my time, which just inadvertently ends up meaning that I just need to wake up earlier. Which is fine. That being said, I woke up later than usual today. And that's my usual telltale sign that I'm sick, that I'm unwell, or I'm gonna get unwell. In the end, you still have the same free time no matter when you go to work. You just go to sleep later then. Yeah, that's also true. You can also do that. For me, I'm learning to become a morning person, which is tough. But I would rather, yeah, be tired in the morning and get more done than stay up too late and then oversleep and be unprepared for my day. But also each to their own. I know Loki is just insane in that he has like 3 hours of sleep and operates absolutely fine. Whereas me, I cannot do that. Morning person, no, this is not my place. Well, I'm streaming in your morning, so there's that. This is, as close to morning that I'll get for you, unless I do an all-day stream. But yeah, it works out because me as a morning person is an evening person for you? No, maybe. I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying. Time zone wise, it lines up perfectly. I can't get my Australia demographic because I stream at weird hours for them, but I can get other places, all the other time zones, it seems, which is hilarious to me. That's nice. I almost said, that's cute. It is nice. But I wanted a nice variation of locations. Hey, Ratham, how you doing? I hope you are well. Or if you aren't well, I hope you are on the road to recovery. I am currently sort of not well. A weird cursed emote and then a really cute one. I like your style. And then back to cursed. I love it. Every time I look away and then look back, I just see a new emote, and I love that I just can't predict it. For once, we can thank for time zones. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I like that the time zones are so wildly different between myself and my community. Something just funny about it. In that, I think the first big portion of people who watched me were from Canada. And for the life of me, I couldn't fathom why that was. And then I eventually realized it's because just the time zones just line up in when I'm streaming and when they seem to be awake, which is like 4 a.m. for them, which is still weird, but I appreciate it all the same. I find it so funny that my audience is predominantly Canadian or not Australian at the very least. Something just so funny about that. Like, what even is the science behind that? It's just time zones. It's just time. Just adding a little bit of fun stuff. Probably should have put vines in first, but eh. Eh. USA for you, yeah. Yeah, USA and Canada. They seem to be the big ones. Which I don't mind. I like both places, so it's nice that I can find a community of people who are chill. Should probably make some brush pens or brush tips of flowers and stuff, because it'll make this process a lot easier. Do I actually have a brush? Do I have? I do. I do. I'm a dingus. Can't believe I'm here doing this properly and I've already got a brush pen for this. I'm an idiot. God, guys, I just don't learn, do I? I just don't do it. Just don't do that learning thing. I'm just a dingus. I'm like, hey, I should really make a brush pen for this flower. I already have. I did this maybe a year ago at this point. Here I am like, oh, you know what would make my life easier? Just having a brush pen. a brush tip that does it for me. That's what Grey Mouse. You're dangus. Something I was going to talk about as well, before I forget, is that on the Discord I've added a new audio channel, which is basically, it's called The Workshop, and it's going to be there basically for people to use as a means of not necessarily getting critique, but basically chatting with other artists and learning from each other. I'm gonna try and be in there as often as possible, but my intention with it was that it would just exist as a place where people can chat about art or work on art together and things like that. And eventually I'll actually start doing like art classes and things like that in that place, in that audio channel, voice channel, that's what they're called. But I also thought it would just be a nice thing to do for people. And if people, because I found very often people ask about if I can give them feedback on some art and stuff. And so I kind of have a place for that, but I also wanted to just have somewhere where people could just, post stuff and then I could just chat to them about it. Voice is audio, so it works also. Yeah, you know me, I'll have a word for it, and if it works, it works. I don't necessarily want just all pink, but I'm just gonna fill the spaces. So we've got a nice vibrant space. And then we'll go in a different color. Fill it out just a bit more. And as I kind of adopt this more radio-like persona for my streams and stuff, I'm tempted to actually have like a talk showy bit. So have a stream where I'm actually, one of the art streams where I'm just chatting with another artist or another streamer and we work on art together, or we work on art on the show. I can work on my comic while they work on their own things. Got big goals for 2024. I want to make things happen. Oh, that's too close to that line. But yeah, I'm also intending to do more with the Discord. But also wondering how active I'm going to be on the Discord and stuff like that. It's all a guessing game right now. Or an aspirations game. There's things I'd love to do, but will I have time? Only time will tell. I mean, in theory, the higher these plants go, the bigger their flowering bodies would be. But I'm not too concerned. I think also in correction to that, they would also be younger. So they would be smaller at first. They would grow larger long term, but they would still be smaller. What's happened to you, Mr. Incredible? You look strange. Oh, that's a terrible color. Don't like that at all. Need something, yeah, with a bit more saturation. And then I'm going to go over these with a smaller brush in a multiply layer, so that we can get just a little bit of depth with them. We kind of want a blood orange color too, because that would look fantastic. But I just want a nice variation of colors as well. Colors and sizes. That's what I like about the loop deck dial, is that you can really kind of alternate the size on a whim. Oh, that's too close. Cover them up because they're a lot too dark. Oh, hydrate. Thank you, kid. How you doing? Ah! My water bottle was all the way across the room. I had to reach for it. Biblically accurate toad as a warm-up. Very interesting. I like it. I like it. That's a cool idea. Let's do it. Let me zoom out so we can just look at this panel. That's cute. I'm actually glad I went with the flowers idea. It looks good. I'll have to add a new shadow to it, or I just dump it behind the shadows. But then it's behind the line work. Maybe that's not a good idea. I'll figure it out. Anyway, biblically accurate toad. What's a toad look like? First hurdle. Now I know what a toad looks like. Don't worry, guys. Don't worry. But what's a biblically accurate toad? Let me just get... I was asked to do one, so now it's my turn. Yeah. I'm glad. I want to give it a try. Let me just look at the bib. I want to look at a biblically accurate angel, just so I know what I'm looking at. Toads look like elder gods, stern but handsome. Yeah, I haven't seen yours. What does yours look like? Toads don't have wings, but I think I could make something work. Okay, so they're spherical. Start with a sphere. Do you want to, I mean, if you want to link it in chat or post it in the Discord, either works for me. If I do that for the first eye, inside the mouth of itself, show after my own. Okay. Toad's eye. Which currently looks like a goat's eye, but I love a goat's eye, so I can live with that. Let's eliminate the brush size. Also kind of, because it's a warm-up, and I should be doing more of the rough drafting style that I usually do when I'm drafting something up. I need to stop being a perfectionist when it comes to certain arts. You know? If you know what I mean? Where you kind of spend so much time agonizing over the little details of things. I should just, yeah, be doing rough, sketchy sketches. So that I can get it all. I've drawn a lot of kind of weirdly biblically accurate stuff. For my previous D&D campaign, I actually drew a a moth god, and he looked quite like he had the many eyes kind of style to him. So I like the multi-eyed kind of depiction of things. Something about eyes. I really like putting eyes in things to make them creepy or ethereal and otherworldly. If you know what I mean? Enough agony, you eventually figure out what you wanted, but there's a lot of agony in between. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. The in between is the worst. Yeah, where you feel like you're just like, oh, I'm just not doing anything right. I'm just not doing this correct. You know? I'm just making a mess of things. So he's kind of cute in a weird way so far. But could be more biblically accurate, if you know what I mean. He still looks very toad-like. Could be more biblically accurate. He needs some warts that are eyes. But there should also be a symmetry to them. Little vestigial wings as well, just added to parts. Added to bits and pieces because there's something just weirdly grotesque about it. The rest of the frog body, not frog, toad body. I also noticed that I often draw things at like a slight incline or angle. I feel like I could do more, you know? It's a weird abject kind of fascination or fixation on the face that I kind of, sometimes I do get stuck in, I'll admit. I like to draw faces. No matter how horrific they end up being. Actually, the more horrific, the better, you know? The more horrific, the better. And I'll make some wings out of some frog legs. Some very short frog legs. Get a nice bit of like, not slime or, but like slime, but kind of a webbing thrown in. Gives it that more wingy kind of ness, which I like. Gives it a real winginess, guys. Actually, like an art term. It's an art term, winginess. Akin to a wing, but not. Give it some drool or moisture, as it were. Has to end in a droplet though if it's going to be goop. And then frog's legs are like weirdly like, what's the word I'm looking for? Muscular and defined. That's the word I'm looking for. For weird definedness to them. Definition. The actual word that I'm looking for. I'm actually going to take away its arms so that it looks more kind of grotesque. Become obsessed with the grotesque, you know, the grotesque look of things. Making things look weird and horrible. You'll learn that when I do the next one of the spin-offs actually. So that I have just a fascination with grotesque art. And horror art, that is. That one's, these legs, toes are doing their own thing. Really doing their own things here. Oh, I don't like the droplet there. Icky. Yeah, make it look more human. Removing its like arms and stuff has made it so humanoid. A little bit curve, and then we give it a nice thick amount of definition. Do kind of lazy, loosey-goosey kind of shadowing, shading to it all. Hey, Gally. Yes, we're working on a biblically accurate toad. Don't worry in the slightest. It cannot hurt you. It cannot harm you. Be not afraid, Gally. It is here to save us. Ooh. I moved it accidentally. That was weird. As it moved us all with its biblical teachings. Commented above, I've been watching, I'm a Toad fan. Oh yeah, yes I did. I do remember that. I got too absorbed in my Toad drawing that I forgot who was here, and if I was just by myself talking about toads like a lunatic. I almost feel inclined to give it hair, but I shouldn't. Don't fall into temptation. Giving it a slightly deformed eye here. Looks like the mouse, which is now in public domain. I mean, sometimes I think, oh yeah, toads for a while. So I mean, yeah, it's easy to get distracted. distracted by a good toad. You know? You see a toad out in the wild and you're like, just there goes your day. Your day is over. You found a toad. So you got nothing else you can really do. If you've read those Mr. Toad books, Mr. Frog and Mr. Toad, I feel like it's fully believable to just spend an entire day looking at toads and frogs. Hey Glenn. Once it warms up, I hope the big toad comes back to your garden. Oh, you got a regular? You got a regular toad? We're currently drawing a biblically accurate toad, Glenn. So don't mind us. Ooh, do I do some tadpole imagery? That'd be interesting. Tadpole imagery. What does that mean? I don't know. Give it a tail, essentially. No, I don't like that. No, I don't like that at all. No, we're taking it back. I take it back. Sometimes artistic creativity goes too far. Give him a ton of eyes. You want to spend all of your days looking at nature? That would be a good life. That would be a really good life. I tell you what, I was talking to my parents about, because I'm planning on potentially getting a house of my own next year, but like a lemon house for you Australians who know what it is, or anyone who knows what that term is. Basically, a fairly like run-down house to fix up. Just purchasing a place to live with the intentions of fixing it up. But my hope is that I can find a place with a nice big garden so that I can make a greenhouse. And then my dream is to just sit in the greenhouse and kind of while away the hours drinking tea and looking at my plants. It's my dream. It's one of my dreams in that capacity. Just big and grump. Oh, there. Lovely toad that's big and grumpy. Like an elderly house cat, but it's a toad. Sometimes I put out kibble for her because it's better for her than eating all the bird seed the birds knock down. She's a weirdo. Yeah, I fully... I wouldn't be surprised that toads just eat whatever. These should have webbing, shouldn't they? It's a toad. It's a toad. And toads have a bit of webbing. Gonna put a few small tears in it. And make a little thing there. So that it makes the webbing nice and full. What did you call it? Lemon house. So apparently the term is like a lemon house. So a house that is a bit of a lemon, and that's why I assume it's an Australian saying, because the term like lemon, if you refer to something as a lemon, it's usually something that's just a bit shoddy and run down. There should also be tongues, shouldn't there? It is a frog. It should have a big rolled up tongue, but I put an eye in its mouth. How am I gonna put these tongues? Maybe that's the biblically accurate bit. Make a ring of tongues. I mean, I hear that all the time, often for beat up cars. Yeah, and I think it's most commonly used for cars. Just making this guy too long. Guy or gal? I'm not gonna just assume. It's a really long toad. The agony of making a stretched out toad. Here's an idea. What if I did like a dissection kind of thing on it, but made the dissection like wings? I've only heard lemon in reference to car, not heard of in reference to house, but makes sense. When I was looking it up, I saw lemon house multiple times. So that's the only reason I believe that's what it is. Like it's actually the term, but honestly, I could be wrong. I could be very wrong. I have similar plans, though. I do want to do that with a couple of people because I don't want to be alone anymore. That's fair. I think, like, fixing up a place or, like, fixing up a property with a group of people who are all invested in it seems like a really fun thing to do and a really nice thing to do. You know, with the housing market the way that it is, even in Australia where it's still not very good, um, it's one really good way of ensuring that you have a place that you have complete autonomy over. And for myself, after last year where my apartment was broken into and I could pretty much do nothing about it, that's pretty much all I've craved. I just want some autonomy. I want autonomy of my space where I could do whatever I want and potentially put off robberies and things like that. The females are typically bigger. Ah, nice. I might cry. No, don't go crying. Or do, feel your feelings, of course, but make sure you got people around you to share in that feeling. Technically, you already live in a place you could fix up, but you don't like the location and plan on moving at some point, so I don't want to spend too much energy on this one. That's fair. That's a very reasonable thing to do. I wouldn't like even for me, the first place I'm getting is not going to be a place I'm permanently going to stay. But I'm just looking for some autonomy, honestly. This is what happens when I worship toads. Yeah. I mean, toads are a nice thing to worship. In Australia, less so because we have cane toads, which are a pest. But toads and frogs, they're lovely little creatures. And, one thing it took me too long to realize is that, toads and invasive species, they don't really have a choice. They're just existing and surviving. So it is unfortunate that we have pests that are toads and stuff. But they're just existing. Just like us. And it is on us that we brought them here. Because it's not a place that they're thriving, and that's kind of the problem because they're thriving at the detriment of natural species. Though, one thing I do know that is quite interesting is that in Australia, all of our species, and this is me just being a nerd right now, but all of our species of dung beetle are actually introduced. And that's because cow pats and cow poop does not break down easily in our ecosystem, in the Australian ecosystem. So we introduced a bunch of dung beetles to help decompose that or break down that poop. I'm pretty sure your garden toad is a big old cane toad. People often call them buffos as well, which is a funny word. Buffo. That's a good word. Unfortunately, everything costs money. Yeah, the painstaking cost of living and cost of everything. Yeah. Ain't that always the thing? Ain't that always the kicker? That's why I'm spending a year saving up and stuff, just so that I can afford the place, or afford the deposit for the place. Praise be the poop beetles. Yes, praise be the poop beetles. We need them. It is a great word. Buffo? Is it buffo or buffo? My accent is weird, so you will need to help me. Help me understand. I pronounce things very weird. How about we go lungs? Some big old puffers. Just to make the space clear and evident. And then with the intestines, just a very simple depiction of intestines, of course. Not going to be anatomically accurate, but it will be biblically accurate. My areas are full of invasive little guys, but it isn't their fault. Cuban tree frogs, brown anoles, green anoles, night anoles, iguanas in some areas too. I always hear it's bufo. Okay, bufo. Yeah, that is a good name. Good name for it. I recently learnt about a native species of insect known as gum hoppers, and I'm in love. I'm in love with them. They're adorable. They're such like they're insects, but they're just such adorable little creatures. So let me finish this warm up, and then I'll show you a picture. A gum hopper, mate. Just a cheeky little gum hopper. Yeah, they're lovely, mate. Sorry, I need to not do the stereotypical Aussie for it, but it sounds great in a stereotypical Aussie accent. Cheeky gum hopper, mate. Give it another eye, just for fun. Yeah, little gum hopper, mate. There we go. Add a few little details for the skin flaps. Can't believe I said that. Sorry, guys. I don't offer good quality, but I do offer potential quality sometimes. Oh no. Oh no. Not a gum hopper, mate. Oh no. Oh no. Because I've got like a slightly British accent, it's so hard to do the nar for me. Some streets here get closed off at night during the main toad froggo season so they can roam around without getting squashed by cars. Oh, that's good. That's nice for the frogs and toads. So basically, sorry, so that's that sketch done. He's looking very fancy. But basically, a gum hopper looks like this. That's basically it. That's what a gum hopper looks like. It's not much more much more complicated than that. Maybe there's a little bit of wings. They kind of look like ladybugs, but this is their whole face. Maybe they got little antennae, but I didn't see any. Yeah, you do it so well. Good to protect all them little fellas. Yeah, absolutely. They gotta be safe. You know, it's just, yeah, it's such a grim kind of thought to have to run over a bunch of frogs and stuff just because there is a high density of them. But yeah, so gum hoppers basically, they get their names because they hop from gum tree to gum tree. In the little field journal that I found, or bought, found, like I found it in the woods somewhere. No, in the little field journal that I bought, the entomologist who talks about these gum hoppers was basically saying they're just friendly little guys who just hop from tree to tree, but then sometimes if you're out hiking, they'll hop onto you and then hop off onto something else. And they're just hitching a ride. They're not venomous, they're not poisonous, they just exist. And they don't get in any, they have no intention of, they're not a predator. They're not a predator insect. They're probably prey for some other insect or animal, but they really just hang out as described by the entomologist. I mean, I'm sold on them. They even have a great name, combination of two cute words. Done. Yeah, gum hoppers are so cute. I love them. And I was looking at this field journal because I want more references for insects and animals. I have a field journal on mushrooms and plant life and things like that. I just want to be including more stuff into the rat baby universe. I'm going to keep the gum hopper there because he's cute. Let's call him Peter. Peter Gumhopper. Let me just save that again. I saved just before writing Peter. Biblically accurate frog. His little face, yeah. I'm quite happy with that draft. Not draft, warm up. I gotta actually embrace the whole drafting sketch style. Because it's quick, and it's usually more detailed than trying to draw as refined as possible. At least in my opinion. Gray's foliage. So I made all of these brushes myself. I might as well check, but if anyone's interested in having them or using them, let me know. I was thinking about putting them on Kofi for sale, but I also just don't mind if people want the brushes. They're very simple. They're very simple brushes, so people are more than welcome to have them. As long as they're going to use them, you know? That's my mentality about it. As long as people are using them, I'm happy to give them away. But then again, if you want to help me save up to pay for that house, then let me know and I'll charge you for them. I love how for like most artists it would be just like you wouldn't even need to think about it. You just be like, yep, cool. Put it up on my store, no problem. But then I'm just like, oh, but I might give it away for free. I may as well. Here you go, have it. If you're gonna use it, take it. I have been told off before because I didn't charge people for stuff. Which I do always find kind of funny. Is that it's like, no, Greymouse, you're supposed to charge them. And I was like, oh, but they were nice to me. I see your title, you're feeling ill, don't barf your pants on stream. Well, that is the concern. But also I didn't need to be ill to have that concern. It is within my nature to barf in my pants, or barf my pants, as it were. Yeah, I just been like, I woke up later than usual today, and because I have an alarm, I'm just like, okay, cool, that's one of my warning signs, is that if I'm waking up later than usual, it's probably because I'm not going to be unwell, or I'm not feeling well at this point. Ah, yes. Thank you for reminding me. Yes, I do want to look at your biblically accurate toad. Take me there. To Twitter. Oh, that's fantastic. Would you mind if I showed this on stream? I don't suggest you're a cartoon character, just that can abruptly firehouse mouth. I can't do that, no. But it is always a bit of a concern with my normal existence. Yeah, this is super cool. I love what you've done. Punga, bring up the Twitter. For those of you who don't know Kit's work, this is some of it. It's very cool. I like I like where your imagination is gone with it. It's super cool. And I like that you've decided to go with like multiple arms, and you actually have done the tongue. My existence sounds mildly scary. It is. Yes. It is. It's somewhat cursed. It's a neat froggy. It's a fantastic froggy. Do we have the leaf blower going in the background? Probably. Yeah, lovely work, Kit. This is very good. I'm very impressed. No, I like it. I like it a lot. I'll jump back. Jump back. Don't want to... And actually, I just want to say this. Maybe people don't give enough credence to it, but I really like your artist signature. I think it's got a real nice character to it. the OK and the dash, just and in that like pen style, beautiful. I'm gonna point out every little thing, you know, and I like it because I don't have an artist signature. I mean, I kind of do, but it's nothing too special. You're liking it better than your old anchor signature? Fair enough. Fair enough. Um, my signature is like, hold on, it's just ludicrous, but it's like that because it's a mouse with a cross. Not a. It's a mouse with a bow, not a crossbow. It's a mouse with a bow. Uh, but yeah, I don't know. Like, I like people who actually really put the thought in. Ah, you're too kind, kid. You're too kind. It's something I agonized over for ages at one point, and now I just don't. I just don't care about it. So it's like, it's always nice to hear the kind words, of course, but yeah. Once upon a time, it meant a lot to me, and now I'm just numb. I'm a numb artist at this point. And then we'll go one more color, or maybe a few more colors. I want, yeah, bright blood orangey kind of color. That's not it. May as well just be red, you know? Yeah. And then we add a little bit of detailing to it, but then we should be completely done. I've gone through like 8 art signatures. This is hopefully the last. Yeah, fair enough. It's hard to really like settle on one that you like. I mean, I found that for me personally. I found that I struggled to find one that I was just like, yeah, this is perfect. And I may be going through like multiple. And by the time I actually do like stalls at cons and stuff, if I ever get around to doing that, um, it'll be like, oh yeah, this is the 2024 Grey Mouse signature. Have you got the 2027 Grey Mouse signature? You know, like trading cards, essentially. It'll be that inconsistent. I thought Anchor was going to be the last, especially because I love the pun. Yeah. Like, you get really, like, set. Your heart gets set on something. And then you might rebrand. And then you're just like, oh, this just doesn't work anymore. It's tragique. Tragique. Though, if I rebranded to Monochrome Mouse, then I'd probably be okay to keep most of my stuff. Even my, like, model and stuff. But Grey Mouse is good. Don't know if I want to keep the ink. But then again, also, I can never find a game, like an online game name that isn't taken. If I go with Grey Mouse is always taken. Grey Mouse Inc. is never taken. Stretch. I will stretch. Yeah, but when I changed my name for everything else, it only made sense. Yeah. Yeah. It's the problem with rebranding. It's a good like if you're feeling like you need to, it's a good idea, but then you also have to rebrand pretty much everything. My spine. Ah. Just you hear me snap my own back and then stream ends. Part of the fun of redeeming stretches for people is the sounds they make. I add the sounds in. I can stretch completely quietly, but then how would you know that I was stretching? Surely. Keep it until you open up a business, then change it to ink. I have thought about that. It is great. And if I ever opened a warehouse for merch and stuff, I would change it to ink. Like that ink. Because, yeah, that's fantastic. Render shadows. And I'm thinking I'll use a warm shadow tone for this. Because that would be nice. Like real cool. Cool and stuff. First of all though, real soft render brush. For these parts. Parts that are actually in shadow. I built a bed frame for your cats yesterday. Oh yeah? That sounds really cool. And I bet the cats appreciate it too. Can I ask you to add your toad to my Twitter post? I think it would be fun to see the difference. For sure. I'll definitely do that. I'll do that once I finish up stream today. Just remind me. Because my brain don't work good sometimes. Yeah, that'd be cool. I quickly followed you as well, just to make sure I can find you again. Though I thought I was following you already. So, oh well. I must have not, clearly. I sound really cool. What? I mean, thank you. I swore I did. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things, right? It's totally okay. We realized it now. We'll figure it out. We figured it out. Sorted it. Though, speaking of sound, I have also gone to, not painstaking difficulty, but I've been adding sound to my redeems and stuff. Not redeems, some of my Twitch integrations, because I felt like it was just a bit too quiet. And that would have been annoying for some people. Well, not annoying, but not as fun as if I had sound. So I've done a bit of recording today, so audio recording of my voice and things like that. Just so there's a little bit more audibly going on. How does that look? That looks like shit. Sorry. Maybe drop the opacity there. Just bump it all the way down. And then bounce it around everywhere. Because I also always feel like I've followed... Ooh, ad break. That's not one of the new sounds. That one's been around for a little while. But I find that for myself, I'm like terrible at remembering to do things that I had said I was going to do. And then when it comes down to the day that I actually like pass my deadline, I'm just like, oh shit, I was supposed to do that thing. You know, I haven't done it. Oh shit, I was supposed to mail my tax. What have you. Not that, I'm very good at paying my tax, guys. Don't worry. I know I joke about not paying my tax on like a lot of people's streams. I do pay my tax. I swear. I promise. Just ATO, please. You hear a knocking at my door. ATO, come in. Beat me up. I don't know how I'm going to segue to what I was just about to say, but I've been reading Nimona. Or I've read Nimona, so the comic that Netflix animated movie is about. And I really enjoyed it. It was so good. Like, comic-wise, it was really good inspiration. I really liked that the artist did a lot with a very minimal style, and not to discredit their work, but their style is a lot more simplified, and minimalist comparatively to my maximalist essentially comic style. But they did so much with that style, and I was really deeply impressed. And the story is really good, like enjoyable. Sure, it had a few like weird plot holes and plot conveniences, but it was still very good. Imagine paying taxes. I mean, I try not to. I mean, wait, ATO, I swear I pay my taxes. I'm just trying to joke about not paying taxes, and I'm like, wait, my biggest follower in Kofi is the Australian Taxation Office. Guys, I swear. Guys, I swear, like, I do pay my tax. They love my streams. They like DM me every so often on Instagram and Twitter, and they just say, we're gonna get you, and I'm just like, oh, not this time. I'm really playing with fire. If I ever didn't pay taxes, holy crap. Like, it wouldn't be surprising for you guys, but the scandal. I mean, that would definitely be like Twitch drama, that's for sure. Gramos Inc. Caught not paying taxes. Yikes. How does that look compared to everything else? Yeah, I mean, keep your friends close and your enemies closer. Yeah, exactly. That's why I pay my tax for now. Does the hard outline work for this? That's the question. Is the question. I mean, it kind of helps some of them. Others is like, maybe unnecessary. Unnecessary details work, honestly. Like here, for example, maybe a few would do some good, but otherwise it's mostly a mess of flowers, so you're not gonna notice it too much anyway. And I got more flowers to add. Equestrian? Equestrian? What'd you say to me? How dare you? Equestrian? How dare you? Did I say equestrian? Maybe. Did I mean to? Absolutely not. I said, what's the equestrian? Oh. What's the equestrian? Now I'm confused. But only because I confused myself. Like, you were fine. Me, the dingus, is not fine. I'm always confused. Yeah. Oh my god, yeah. I am so consistently just confused. If you're new to the stream, hey, I'm confused. Sometimes people call me Grey Mouse Inc., but mostly just confused. Holy crap. The amount of times in my existence where I'm just like, I don't know what I'm doing or who I am. That's me. It's me a lot of the time. If I had a nickel for every time I was confused, I would be confused about this nickel randomly appearing in my hand, and then another nickel would fall, and I wouldn't know where that one came from either. And then slowly but surely I'd be crushed to death by nickels, never knowing why or how they came into my possession. Do I want to add more flowers? I think we're okay for flowers. Should we add more flowers? Or that just this scene? This absolutely... I'm a dog? How dare you? How fucking dare you? Yeah. No, you're right. I can't deny that. I am who I am. I'm a mouse. I'm confused. I'm a dog. Finished panels. And finally, on to the next one. We've been here long enough, but holy crap, does this panel look good. I'm a very happy bean with it. Yeah, I'm actually super happy with that panel. It's a shame some of it will be covered up by a speech bubble. But some things just can't be helped. Don't know why I'm, like, not looking at it fully. I started this comic in a bit of a, like, cursed fashion because essentially I don't know how, but the canvas was set to monochrome when I started on the comic. So now every single time I start a new page, I have to make sure that I set that page to color, and then every single one, like, after that needs to be in color. Otherwise, and this is what I found out on this page, is that for some reason monochrome's anti-aliasing is different to color's anti-aliasing, and as a result it makes my line work look blocky and crunchy in a sense. And for me personally, I hated that, and I was like, I don't understand why this isn't working, or isn't working the way it usually does. When I realized it was fine and I could fix it, but it's this, like, additional painstaking thing that I have to do for each page, or just next chapter start a new comic save file, which I could do, but also feels disorganized, because then I can't go back and check on panels or colors or anything like that. I would just have to not start again, but painstakingly open up a new file to check on it, or check I got the color right for Ratchet's socks. That sounds like work, and I'm lazy as fuck, says the mouse who's doing an entire comic himself. I like to be self-deprecating, but sometimes you gotta praise yourself where you can, right? I am making a comic completely by myself, without assistance. I mean, I got a little bit of assistance. I've got writing help, but it's mostly me going to my friend and going, hey, I had this idea for the comic. I thought it'd be cool. What do you think? And they go, yep, that's cool. And that's my editing process. That is, like, that's the closest I get to an editor, is that I tell somebody an idea and they say it's cool, or they'll discuss the idea with me. And then I give them accreditation once it's all done. Not any of the money, though. Whew. There's only one person who's getting their hands on this rat baby money, other than myself. And it's the ATO, because I pay my taxes. I love that also you guys can't see my face, because every time I make those jokes, I just look to a non-existent camera with an expression of just absolute panic. Kind of looks a little bit like I'm just like, I pay my taxes, guys, I swear. Please. Can imagine. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I swear, guys. Please don't show up at my house with a cricket bat. Again, it's not even my home, so I can't get insurance on that for breaking down my door. Oh, not that. And for this one, just checking the next panel, I'm just copying it and then moving ratchet, essentially. That'll do it. These tiny little, like, cursory guidelines are kind of only there to add a little bit of detailing that accompanies the detailing of the shadows and things like that. Shadows and highlights, but they're almost just more guidelines. The code is more what you call guidelines than actual rules. Oof, that was messy. Better. Slightly less messy. Okay. Kind of like the idea that the slug has been cut down and then essentially forgotten. So things are starting to grow back over it. It's starting to be taken over. overrun by the bushes. Every time I try and make these like little, just additional detail lines, the first few parts of the line work, I just go penis, and then gotta make it not look like a penis. It's the curse of being an illustrator who sees in shapes. And is that because everything is just a grouping of shapes. So if you're making just random squiggles and lines, you just go, penis. And then the rest of it. And it's like, oh, well, it doesn't have balls, so it's not a penis. It's not a penis now. So, yeah. It's all part of the artist's process. Is to draw something random and then make sure it doesn't look phallic. It's all very simple. I feel like there needs to be something in this space. But other than that fort, which we're not going to be able to see from this angle, there's not really anything there. There could be something in the distance. But I'm wondering what that would be. Because that part in the panel work where I'm just like, oh cool, I can add more detail, even though I've added a lot of detail. Even gonna just add a foreground kind of like bush part. Just for a little bit of like change. Maybe we'll get to see a little bit of openings to like some fields as we're getting closer to being out in the field lands. The field land parts of Kaitiaki. Not gonna lie, I really like drawing the birch trees. You know, the little trees with eyes. Some of my favorite, like, bark formations for this, like, comic. So the fact that we're getting closer to areas that have them is great for me. They're a little bit precarious to draw at first, but in terms of their style and look, I like it. And I'm happy to spend a little time just making them work. If I'm gonna get a cool tree out of it, you know? But now, do I need to grab my Legend of Zelda art book to get some inspiration for things to throw around? Maybe. Do I want to get the book out just because I like looking at it? Also maybe. About that much. Because for the other one, it looks like it's a bit tall. Bit tall. Or a bit too symmetrical. Much rather than be a little asymmetrical. Though, speaking of symmetrical and asymmetrical, might just jump to a tree. Just a reference image for a tree. So that I can have something a little different looking. There are some really amazing like Pinterest references, and I use Pinterest for references all the time on stuff like trees when I'm looking for something just a little bit unique. And really trees should have, you know, many different formations, and they shouldn't just be rigid like what I've drawn so far. I get kind of comfortable just drawing the same sort of trees over and over again. Should try different ones. Curvier trees. Trees with a bit of shape and movement and flow. Trees that look like, you know, witches would live in them or near them. Things like that. Some of the faves. Because, yeah, it's too easy to get comfortable in what you know to draw. And I'll say that's probably a tree line there. Decide that that's where the tree is going to be, or the tree line is going to be. And work from that. Set the horizon about there. Or at the very least set like a soft horizon about there. May not actually be the horizon, but it can be changed quite easily. Not seen much wind in the world. That's not true. We've not seen much wind in this specific part of the comic, so I'm gonna just keep them standing tall and straight, not curve them. Not curve the trees that are straight. And then maybe we start to show fields and not trees. We start to get more opening. Get some stones and stuff. Maybe some fences. The vaguest hint of a fence, but I might do that in the shadows because it'll look a bit too stark otherwise. And then the faintest tree line is also here. Oh, not tree line. Horizon. Horizon line. And just thinking, do I want to add some signs of goblin civilization as well? Things that existed before the colonization of the Resonance, or the Resonant Empire. Trialing the name, because I'm going to change it from Empire to Resonant, because I didn't like the idea of the Empire. And also my dad was like, sounds too Star Warsy, and I'm like, you're right. The Empire sounds too Star Warsy at this point. Too strongly associated with Star Wars. And I'd much rather have something that was more fantasy-like. Was more fantasy than sound. Resonant devices. But yeah, I like that. As if it were connected to, like, being able to hear the gods through resonant frequencies and things like that. I like that aspect to it, at the very least. Gonna do this, like, it's almost like a tent piece that's was attached to the tree. And now it's not. Well, it's collapsed. And I'll make sure that cloth is very visible. Give it a bit of rope. And then from there to there. There to there. And a little bit there. I won't do that in shadows. I don't like the idea of adding the notches in rope in the line work layer, because it makes it really hard to color in afterwards. And it always looks a bit messy. So I'd much rather just do it in shadows. And again, just working on really fine details in a single panel. I don't need to do this. I don't need to fixate, but I'm going to. I love that the natural like way of drawing Ratchet's face leans more strongly towards smiling. In that his face is meant to like evoke an expression of, oh no, there's a tree in the way, but it just kind of naturally smiles or leans towards smiling, which I love because he's a sweet little character. He's a sweet little happy character, so he should be smiling. That's too sharp. His jawline is sharp, but just not that sharp. There we go. And I need to draw all the scarf all the way. Oh, that's definitely not the way his hair should work. Is that right? Tilting my head in the opposite direction of the way his head is tilted. Wondering if this is correct. Just outside of his head. There you go. He doesn't have pupils. Make his pupils really wide. Don't stare at the camera, Ratchet. We'll make his pupils really wide because I'm doing the, pupil dilation kind of rule that if he's happy, then his pupils dilate. Well, they get bigger. That's dilate. Dilate is just referring to the movement, isn't it? Any eye dilation experts or grammatical experts in chat can attest? Disclaimer, I don't know what I'm talking about. But I hope I do. His pupils will potentially need to be moved, but that's okay. It's a fixable thing. One thing is I probably want to draw a little more background behind these bits here, just because just shadowed out space is just going to look awful. So, just thinking maybe more of these like uniquely shaped trees. Ugh, just had a hair in my mouth, sorry guys. Just big trees moving rocks and stuff. Because I find that to be really cool. Trees that have overgrown stonework. I find them to be really cool. And for me, imperative in good world design. Stones. I need them. Stones that have been moved by trees. I need them. As if it's being lifted. Lifted and moved. Is that too geometric? Eh. It looks like it's hugging it. Yeah. Yeah, nice. And this last bit. Maybe just add a bush. Again, it really doesn't need to be that so complicated. Just add a bush. Just cheeky bush. Bada bing, bada boom. Like to just throw world building into every little corner. But sometimes it's just not necessary. Also, they're going to be covered up by like flowers and stuff as well, so I'm just doing too much. As per. There we go. I love that my go-to is there we go. As if it has any bearing on what's going on. I could be fucking up the drawing and going just like, yep, there we go. That's it. That's good. Yeah. But it will do. Yeah, I can add space to fill in shadows and stuff. Now, have I forgotten anything? Doesn't look like it. Let's get filling in. Color. I might keep working for until we hit the 2-hour mark, and then I'll probably raid out, just as I'm not feeling super well. And I don't want to force myself to keep going. Remove the light. Oh, actually. And there are soft shadows on Ratchet. Yep. Oh wait, no, those are the hard shadows. I was like, wow, it looks so different. Yeah, it's because I've removed the hard shadows and not the soft shadows. Yep. I'm just staring super blankly at this panel, being like, oh yeah, that works, yeah. Is this the color I used for this, or that, or whatever? In all likelihood, the answer is yes, but never certain. Ugh. What am I missing? What am I missing? A lot. Plenty. Sky. Also, I may not have shown it because I don't think I worked on it on stream, but something that's kind of fun that I can show you. It's a little exclusive, I guess. Or not, you'll see it when you read the comic, which I guess is part of what makes it exclusive. If you look up into the clouds, and I had no intention of it being a secret in the comic, but there's also not necessarily any reason to be looking up into the clouds in the first few chapters when we haven't even talked about the giants that live in the clouds. But I thought it would be cool if, you know, some of the very first clouds you see in the comic itself, you get glimpses at a world above. And the sites of potential foreshadowing, I guess, as it were. Everyone knows where this comic is going. This is like, in the grand scheme of things. But I thought it'd be cool to kind of foreshadow it quite strongly. Also, the sun is like split. And I thought that was just going to be fun world building. That the world is just kind of split. Oh, not the world, the sky is split. Not sky, again. Just brain going flat. The sun is like separated. Because I was thinking about like, oh, what do fantasy worlds do? And then I remembered Skyrim and Oblivion. Like, there are like 2 moons. And then I remember reading a post about fantasy world building, and people like, if you add multiple moons, that's lazy world building. And I'm just like, oh, okay, definitely won't add multiple moons then. These people are so very strongly opinionated about the number of moons and its impact on the quality of a fantasy world. So make sure I don't do that. And I didn't. We've seen the moon. The world building of the moon is that it's just really big. It's a really big moon. Just a big ass moon. Like, clearly this world has some very strange tides. And it's because the moon is so close to the Earth. And I like that. I like that idea. Having a moon that is just insanely close, and then a sun that is just split and separated. And you can theorize, maybe it's because that's just how the sun is in this world. So if you see, basically it's all like, it's almost blurred and smeared across the sky. Hey, Smiley, how you doing? I'm just talking about my sky and talking about my sun and how it's split and stuff and smeared, but then also added like these little dots to show like a, um that the planetary body or the star body is like crumbled away and has fallen slightly out of its own orbit. So I liked the idea that maybe that was like man-made essentially. So maybe through magic or some other means, uh, the sun was broken, essentially, by man and elf and things like that. But yeah, it's the kind of things that I think are just cool. You have a world where the Earth has housed immensely powerful beings for many, many years, and then we follow the exploits of a little goblin who likes sticky toffee and things like that. Oh, shit. Looking good. Hope you get well soon, too. Thank you, Smiley. Just some, you know, tummy troubles. Don't want to share too much. Just feeling a bit squiffy. So I didn't want to stream for too long. I'll probably only be streaming for another like 7 minutes, essentially. Notice my warm-up looks really good. Oh, thank you. I received, yeah, my warm-up redeem was biblically accurate toad. So we did that. And yeah, I mean, I'm super happy with how it turned out, for sure. It looks great. But thank you. Thank you for that. It's very sweet of you to say. I wanted to go with... So I'm doing more of that, like, not rushed, but quicker drafting style that I've known how to do for ages, but it really helps when it came down to doing the warm-ups. That I'm gonna have to do by hand. That's fine. Just saturate that, and then that'll make a good rope. Well, 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 well. Well, well, well. If it isn't Krebo. How was little Krebo's first day at school, back at school? Or first week back at school? And yourself, how you doing? Whoa, 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 whoa. Well, Iliwe, Ilwi, Welliw, Elw. Tis I, Cryboo. Hello, Cryboo. How art thine? I will be responding to the streamer's questions in Pig Latin. I believe he had a good day. Hey, we love to hear it. That's awesome. Year 2. It's a good time. If I remember correctly. It's been a very long time since I was in year 2. The wee one is growing up strong and well. Getting distracted. You've been struggling after futsal on Sunday, badly pulled both sides of your groin. Oh no, right at the start of the game. No! Then continued to play for 60 minutes. Ooh, that would have definitely aggravated it. I'm so sorry to hear that. That sounds really rough. Yeah, that sounds painful. Though I will admit, I I'll admit my groin's been feeling a bit sore lately too because of some of the exercises I've been doing at the gym. I think we have I think we have that like twin effect, where twins feel each other's pain, but just our groins. Is that appropriate to say? I don't know. I mean, definitely not. But is it appropriate to say on Twitch? Even bigger of a question. I feel phantom pain for your groin injury. We are groin pals. Yeah, it was terrible and I'm still walking like a cowboy. Oh, that's rough. But it does really demand the authority, right? The authority that we all desire so much. But few can achieve. I just told Wiki we are groin chums. Somehow chum makes it sound like 10 times worse. Adding chum to it instead of pals sounds 10 times worse. What did she say? What did Wiki say to us being groin pals? Groin chums? Groin amigos. To being groin simpatico. Groinus familiaris. If you will. What am I doing? Just making the noise that I assume Ratchet's banking. Yeah. Feels weird that that's actually like 30 minutes. My 30-minute notifier being 30 minutes. It's weird. Is that actually 30 minutes? I don't know. It should be. But it doesn't feel like it is. Yeah. Just a goofy looking little Ratchet. Okay, but it is 2 hours, so I'll probably raid out in a bit or real soon. I also need to shave my beard. It's getting too annoying. Or at least trim it. Tanky smiley. As I remember, I've got to make sure that I post my warm-up to Kit's tweet. But let's look for someone to raid to. Who is live? Kit. Oh, Catastrophe. Who got that redeem as well on their stream, I think. And they did a different version, and then they redeemed the same thing on mine. So we got comparisons. I gotta pay my water bill. Nice. Now let's have a look. Mokujin, Rat Banshee. Ooh, Resident Evil 7 Biohazard. Ooh, I'm tempted. That's tempting. Simon Red, who I said was Simon Reed. Tealful is playing Resident Evil Revelations. It's a Resident Evil night. Though I take it back because Liam is playing Microsoft Flight Simulator. Suited is doing some art, as per, which is always good. And Enya is playing Bramble, which is one hell of a interesting looking game. I like Resident Evil Biohazard is one of my favorite one of my favorite Resident Evil games, or Biohazard if you're from Japan. Let's go Rat Banshee. Why not? Maybe there's zombos in the plane. True. Good point. Good point. Maybe. Maybe there are zombos in that plane. The only reason I'm not raiding Liam is because I think we raided him last time. So we'll give him a bit of a break from us. Anywho, thank you guys so much for being here. Let's start the raid, set that raid going. And I will be back on Thursday for indie games. So also, I'm going to be putting up a vote for the next indie game to play on Thursdays. Be sure to vote in it in the Discord. But other than that, I will see you guys then. Bye.